Hey guys, here's the second video of today. I forgot to mention in the first one, the reason why I haven't been able to upload is because most of the places I would record have been locked or closed. But this was the second upload of today. I did my Chargers review of last week's game. Before this one, it should be uploaded by the time this one goes up. And now let's go ahead and get to week 5 predictions. So this week starts out with the Rams facing against the Seahawks. Both are 3-1. Winner's going to take sole possession of lead in the NFC East. By the way, there's going to be lots of noise in the background. Oh, look, like that. But anyway, so 3-1, both teams. Winner basically takes sole possession of lead in the division. I think it's going to go to probably the Rams. I think they're going to bounce back. It's hard to bet against Seattle at home, though, so I'm going to say a toss-up, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks because of home field advantage. Patriots going against the Redskins. I think the Patriots are going to win. Obviously, records are reversed for one, and the coach for the Redskins has even admitted to several sources that he has no plans for New England at all, which means New England's just going to run roughshod after being, I'm going to say, embarrassed last week. 10-16. They still won, but they were pretty embarrassed offensively by the Bills. Speaking of, 3-1 Bills going against the 2-2 Titans. Titans are at home. Bills are not. Bills may not have their starting quarterback. They may have to run with their backup. So because of that factor alone, I think Tennessee wins. Ravens going against the Steelers. Ravens are 2-2. Steelers are 1-3. This is, well, if the Ravens lose and Pittsburgh wins, I believe even if the Browns lose, then they will still be first in the division. But obviously, if the Browns lose to San Francisco and Ravens win, then the positions are shifted. Either way, the Steelers will probably remain in third place in the division unless they do end up beating the Ravens. But I'm going to say, I don't know how this one's going to go, to be honest. I think Ravens might bounce back. So, no, I'm going to go with the talent on this. No, I'm going to go with the home field team. Basically, if I ever say toss-up, I was probably just going to go to the home field team unless one team is obviously better on paper. So I think Steelers win that one just because of the home team, obviously. Jets 0-3. I forgot they had their bye week, and they're traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. I think Eagles win just because the Jets have a third-string quarterback, I think, playing right now. And, yeah, anytime you have your non-starter playing, you're going to have a pretty tough time. Bears 3-1 battling the Raiders, who are 2-2. I think the Bears win just because defensively they can just destroy the Raiders. The Raiders did beat the Colts last week, but the Colts aren't exactly a stout team on both sides of the ball. The only thing going against the Bears right now is they have Chase Daniel starting, but Chase Daniel actually did quite well last week and leading the team to a win, so I say Bears win. Vikings against the Giants, who are both 2-2. Daniel Jones has lit a fire under this team that hasn't been there for a long time. The Vikings are coming off, I think, a loss. Yeah, a pretty tough loss. I'm going to say Vikings win this one, though. Giants still don't have quite enough talent. They don't have Saquon. They don't have a lot of things on their team right now that they need. Next, we have Tampa Bay, who had the upset last week on the Rams, going against the 3-1 Saints, who ended the Cowboys' undefeated streak. I think I think the Saints win. I don't think the Bucs are going to be able to do that twice, but who knows? They might be able to. Jacoby Brissett has taken over well, but I think they need to open the playbook more for him to be more effective. Falcons against the Texans, 3-1 or 1-3 against 2-2. I think Texans win this one, bounce back from the loss last week to Carolina, and go back above 500. Though the Falcons are going to make it a pretty good fight, is all I'm going to say. This one's actually already almost as long as my other video. Can't really have that playing. I'm trying to scroll this, but it's not letting me do it. Okay, hold up, guys. There's my background in case you guys were wondering what my background was. Had to reopen the app. Okay, there you go. Cardinals 0-3-1 against the 0-4 Bengals. I think the Cardinals might pick up their first win here. The Bengals have been competitive, but they haven't been able to put really anything consistent together. The Cardinals have been pretty competitive as well, but they have had a tough start to the season. I think the Cardinals are just a better team on paper than the Bengals. Jaguars and going against the Panthers, both 2-2. I believe the second string guy is still playing for the Panthers. Gardner Minshew, who just won Rookie of the Month, is playing for the Jaguars, obviously. I'm going to go with the Jags. I think Gardner Minshew is going to lead them to probably a decent record this year, and I also think the Panthers aren't really that great of a team this year, especially without Cam. So now the 0-4 Broncos travel to LA to take on the Chargers. I think the Chargers win. The Broncos defense has been atrocious this year. Last I checked, they have not recorded a sack yet, though they might have last week and I missed it. But either way, I'm going to go with Chargers now because they're my favorite team. Even though they're injury riddled, I think they are still capable of beating the Broncos, who have not won a game yet. So next up, the 2-3-1 teams, Packers and Cowboys. I think the Packers win. The Packers have a great defense, much like the Saints, and their offense is basically at full power, whereas the Cowboys barely could stop the Saints from scoring touchdowns for the most part. Well, they held them all to field goals, no touchdowns, but I think the Packers are a different animal comparatively to the Saints right now, especially without Breeze playing for the Saints. So I just think the Packers will overpower the Cowboys on the offensive side of the ball. The 2-2 Colts travel to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are still undefeated. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I know they're division rivals, but I just don't think the Colts can keep up with the Chiefs. They haven't been able to beat the other two teams in our division yet, and I doubt they're going to be able to beat the Chiefs, who are ahead above the rest of us. Me saying it, obviously, a Charger fan, I know, but it's just facts right now, guys. Chiefs win. And then finally, the 2-2 Browns against the 3-0 49ers, who are the final undefeated team so far. I think the Browns make a statement win here, and I think they do end up beating the 49ers to take them out of the undefeated column. But those are my predictions, and guys, just a reminder, all because I say your team's going to lose doesn't mean I say they suck unless you're a Dolphins fan. I just think on paper, whoever they're playing is simply a step above them. But thank you guys for watching the second video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.